This is a quick look at how this art history themed Christmas tree came to be at the Appleton Museum of Art. I worked on this tree with some of my students from the College of Central Florida when we were asked to participate in the community Christmas trees at the Appleton. I chose to use a photosensitive dye along with images from Renaissance printmakers like Elbrick Durer. So here I am applying the dye with a sponge. I have already put down some tape to mark out where the edges of the image will be. That needed to be blotted off before I then take a transparency that has the negative of the image on it. This will act as a stencil for the image when it is exposed to sunlight. And so then I had each of these outside for anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes. You can watch actually as the dye darkens. You'll see it turning blue and getting to the correct density of the color that I wanted to use for each of these pieces. It's always a little bit of surprise as to when it's finished, but when you think it's ready, you bring it back inside. You use a neutralizer to wash it out. I put them in the bath there and the tape comes off right away. You have to wash them vigorously, each of them for about 5 to 10 minutes, and rinse out all of the extra dye so that it won't react with any sunlight and darken it up later on. Once they were fully rinsed, I left them to air dry, and then I used an iron on them to press out all the wrinkles so that I could begin the sewing process. So I have a corresponding colored piece to go on the back. There's also ribbon that I am arranging on the inside, which will be the outside. That will tie it onto the tree, but it was a little tricky to get it in a good spot so that I didn't sew over it and kind of have it attached where I didn't want it. But once I got that all figured out, I just pinned it together and we take it right over to the sewing machine, and it's a very simple, basically a small pillow that I ended up sewing together. Just leaving a little space on one of the sides here, I think it ends up being the corner, that I can then stuff it later on. After I had the format done, I actually had a student that was helping me with some of the sewing so that I didn't have to do all 16 of these myself. So she helped sew several of them and then helped stuff some of them later on once we had them all sewed together. So this is what they look like before the stuffing goes in, and then we just put some polyfill inside of them to plump them up a little bit. And then basically once that's all done, all you're doing is doing a slip stitch along the edge to close up that gap so that you have your finished ornament. This was a bit of an experimental process for me. I didn't know how long I should leave them out, and so some of them are darker, some of them are lighter. Even the same image that I used over at different times, some were lighter and darker. And then once they were all done, we took them over to the Appleton and began to decorate the tree, thanks to the folks at the Appleton for letting us do this, but also Victoria in particular, who helped me put all of the different ornaments on. So we tied these on first, and then we put some just little gold Christmas balls, as well as some blue ceramic ornaments that the ceramics class made. You can't see all of the details in this video, but some of the ceramics pieces are just regular Christmas imagery, but others are actually based on art historical paintings, usually from a variety of times in art history. So it ends up being the art history Christmas tree. And it was a fun project to work on. It's pretty simple as a kind of a craft project. I think just about anybody could do this transfer of these images. It was actually quite simple to do, and I hope that some of you get a little bit of inspiration from seeing how we put this together. And if you're in Ocala during the holiday season, please stop by the Appleton and check out the trees and their wonderful collection.